Test 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 1 2 3 4. Test 1. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Whoops. Test 1 2 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. What's that? Yeah. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. What am I looking for? Oh.
Okay, well, that's a
Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. You know. Where's our fan section? I saw Miles Denby's dad and mom where they were sitting. Yeah. What was that? Yeah. Oh, they drove him. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Middletown, Connecticut, the home of the Wesleyan University Cardinals, the top seed in the 2025 Division III men's basketball bracket, as we get you ready for a matchup with Delaware Valley, your Aggies, the Cinderella story of March, 2-12 a year ago, in 6th place 3 weeks ago, winning a series of games to get into the conference tournament, and then defeating Misericordia at home and a fadeaway jumper with 5 seconds to play to beat Stevens last week and continue this Cinderella run. Aggies will take on the last team to lose a game in the Division III men's basketball season. The Cardinals were 26-0 before losing to their rival Trinity College in the NESCAC tournament final last week. The Cardinals are ranked 3rd in the country in Division III, but according to the NCAA Power Index, they are the number 1 team in the country. Starting lineups for the two teams, we alternate. We go back and forth here in the NCAA tournament. Delaware Valley will start with Jake McGinty, the Aggies, one of the senior leaders on this team for Del Val, who's played very well over the last couple of weeks. And for the Cardinals, they will send out, that is Cormier, the shooting guard for the Cardinals. Cardinals' top player is that's Jackson Cormier, who's out there, the junior from Houston, Texas. Next out for Delaware Valley, the conference co-MVP, Antonio Redding. Redding scored 47 points to get the Aggies to the conference playoffs and then hit the game-winning shot against Stevens last week. Cardinals bring out Nicky Johnson, number 3, a senior from Lexington, Mass. He is one of the captains for Joe Riley's Cardinals. Next out for Delaware Valley, for the Aggies, it's number 4, Kamal Johnson. KJ coming out, a sophomore guard from Philadelphia, has played his way into the starting lineup and played very well. The Cardinals will counter with number 14, that is Ben Little, and he is not. He is 6'4", 220 pounds, sophomore from New Rochelle, New York. For the Aggies, their big man in the middle and an honorable mention in the conference, the all-conferences selections, that is Zolan Pear, the big man from Birmingham, Alabama. And the Cardinals will counter with their big forward and their top player, the senior from Larchmont, New York, likely All-American, all-conference selection. This is the 6'4", actually he's a guard, excuse me. He's taller than the forward. This is the guard, Shane Regan. Aggies will round things out with Mr. Aggie, the 5th-year starter for Delaware Valley, the graduate student from Philadelphia. That is Jordan Gomes. And the Cardinals will round out their starting lineup with Hauser. Will get the last man to take the floor here. Fritz Hauser, a junior from Waterford, Vermont, St. Johnsbury Academy. So for Delaware Valley, it's McGinty, Gomes, Pear, Johnson, and Redding. And for the Cardinals, it's Cormier, Little, Nicky Johnson, Shane Regan, and Fritz Hauser. Delaware Valley is the road team, obviously. They are playing in black and gold jerseys tonight. Wesleyan in their traditional grays and cardinal reds. Wesleyan members of the New England Small College Athletic Conference that has 4 teams on the men's side of the tournament and 5 on the women. We are underway. The Aggies have won the tip. And the Aggies will look to get on the scoreboard first. Jake McGinty from the left wing over for Antonio Redding. Redding is guarded closely, kicks it over for Gomes. Gomes for KJ. KJ tries to lose his man, shakes into the paint. Ball is poked away. Zolan Pear on the floor along with a bunch of Cardinals. Cardinals have it, don't want to commit timeout. Kamal Johnson pokes the ball away out of bounds, and it'll be Wesleyan ball. Wesleyan here in the middle of the state of Connecticut. Their rival Trinity is about 35 minutes east of here. About 35 minutes west of Hartford. Connecticut's not very large. Wesleyan, one of the older institutions in the country. Cardinals with the ball. First possession as Fritz Hauser starts a drive. Couple steps to his right, not much there. Drive-in shot is blocked out of bounds by Kamal Johnson if they give it to him. Jake Cormier tried to put that one up, and that was knocked away. First meeting between these two teams, Delaware Valley has played a NESCAC team in recent memory. They made a trip up to Trinity's holiday tournament several years ago. But Del Val does not see a lot of the NESCAC teams. This shot from Hauser is way off. And Zolan Pear snatches up the rebound. We're 1 minute in, and we are scoreless. Antonio Redding driving, bumped, kicks out. Kamal Johnson for three. Side rim, no. And the Cardinals grab the rebound. It's Ben Little. Little off for Fritz Hauser. Little will take the three from the right wing, and that is off the mark. And Zolan Pear with yet another rebound. Pear, all honorable mention, all conference from Birmingham, Alabama, as Kamal Johnson crosses the half court. Scoreless, 18:38 to play. Not an enormous crowd on hand here for the tournament games. Cardinals with decent set of fans. It's a big building, so maybe they have more than I think. Jake McGinty drives in, fadeaway jumper, no good. Ben Little with the rebound, and Little looks to push. Across half court, kicks over, driving in, losing the ball momentarily is Johnson. Regan, who's their top player, has not touched it yet. Not only has he not shot it, he hasn't touched the ball. Three on the way for the Cardinals is nearly an air ball. And Ben Little, well, it looks like the officials might have missed that. Three on the way, that is up and good. Little grabs the rebound, gets it to Nicky Johnson, and the Cardinals are on the board with 2 minutes gone. It's Wesleyan 3 and Delaware Valley nothing. Antonio Redding over for Johnson. Johnson will drive on Little. Pull up for KJ, rattles off Jordan Gomes, goes for the rebound and ends up committing the foul on Fritz Hauser. First foul of the game on Delaware Valley, first foul of the game on either team. Cardinals gym here with lots of banners adorning the facility. Wesleyan with a handful of NCAA tournament appearances, mostly in the last 15 years or so. Driving is Cormier. Cormier hands the ball off to Regan. Regan finally gets to touch it, only for a second. They'll rotate it around. Open three from the far side. Rattles out, and Jake McGinty snares the rebound. Aggies and Cardinals, low-scoring game. 3 minutes gone, just 3 points on the board for Wesleyan. Antonio Redding, guarded closely. Tries to break free from Cormier. Fadeaway jumper, no. And the rebound controlled by Hauser again. Hauser feeds Regan. Regan goes down the floor. Gets by KJ. The Aggies shut Regan off on the baseline, and the Cardinals will reset to the top of the arc. Pull-up jumper from Nicky Johnson is off the mark. Ball batted around into the hands of Little. Little slides baseline. Regan is stuck. He's quadruple teamed. Flings it out. Three on the way. That is way off the mark. Regan grabs what is basically an air ball. Shot clock reset. It should not have. Shot layup up no good, and another rebound by Zolan Pear. The Cardinals are 1 for 8 to start the game. Delaware Valley is 0 for 4. 3-0 Wesleyan. 16-18 to play, and the Cardinals will make a substitution at the next dead ball. Johnson momentarily loses it. Kamal and Nicky, a pair of Johnsons against each other. Redding down for Gomes. Gomes working on Regan. Drives in. That's Jordan's favorite move. He powers in with his left shoulder. Draws the contact. Can't get the shot to fall, but Jordan Gomes will go to the foul line. And he gets the first foul of the game on the Cardinals, Shane Regan. Jordan Gomes will do something that he has done more than anyone else in Delaware Valley men's basketball history. Shoot a free throw. He's the career leader in free throw attempts by a large margin. And he hits the first free throw, and the Aggies are on the scoreboard. Fourth trip to the NCAA tournament for Delaware Valley. It's been 1 and out. They've been the lower seed each time. Last time they were here, they lost, not here, but in the tournament, they lost a heartbreaker to Oswego State out of upstate New York. Gomes hits them both. Previous two matchups were against the same team, Virginia Wesleyan, one of the stronger teams out of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Aggies within one, 3-2, 15:56 to play in the opening period. Wesleyan 1 for 9 to start the game. Hauser pitches the ball. Regan looking over the top of the defense, drives on KJ, lost it off the back of his foot. Fadeaway jumper, back rim, no. Cardinals get the rebound. Layup is up and good for Ben Little. Cardinals with 9 rebounds, 4 offensive as Kamal Johnson tries to get to the paint. 5-2 Wesleyan. Redding looks to go off the Redding's the pair screen, drives into the paint, kicks out. Gomes with the shot, no, and the ball comes out and is recovered by Regan. Regan down the floor, 1-on-2, and he will slip it off. Driving in Cameron, Regan for three. That is good. Shane Regan hits the triple, and the Cardinals take an 8-2 lead. Second three of the game for Wesleyan. As Johnson probes the defense momentarily and then pulls back out. We've played 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Wesleyan with an 8-2 lead. Aggies looking for their first field goal. Redding for three, and it's good. Antonio Redding hits the triple, and the Aggies trim the deficit to 8-5. Regan drives baseline. Cardinals will sling it around the perimeter. Little guarded by Gomes. Working around Regan for three over McGinty. It is good. Shane Regan, all-conference selection, 1 of 3 for Wesleyan, and the Cardinals are on top 11-5. Jordan Gomes will take the dead set three, and that's off the back of the rim, no good. And a rebound controlled by the Cardinals. Fritz Hauser drives in, slips it off. Little tries to draw contact, flops to the floor, no foul, and the Aggies grab the rebound. 11-5, Redding will hand it off for Zolan Pear and get it back. Antonio step back three, back rim, no. Zolan Pear and Ben Little tangled with each other, go spilling to the floor. Here comes Cameron the other way for the Cardinals. McGinty tries to draw the charge. Regan for three. No. Another rebound by Ben Little, and he lays it up for two. Ben Little has 6 rebounds in the first 6 minutes of the game, and the Cardinals lead it 13-5. 13:24 to play. Winner of this game will advance and play Gettysburg College as Pear tries to go backdoor for McGinty. Pass stolen away by Regan. Regan gets it, kicks over Fritz Hauser with an open three. Back rim, no. We talked to the Wesleyan play-by-play guy before the game. He said they're not good three-point shooters, and so far they're 3 for 9. Could be worse. Ball tipped out of bounds. We've come to our first media timeout. Delaware Valley trailing the Wesleyan Cardinals. It is 13-5. Welcome back. Media timeouts here in the tournament, and they stretch out the games. The previous game took 2+ hours to play. It was not particularly close. Gettysburg beat Chatham University, school out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They were champions of the President's Athletic Conference. Cardinals have made a couple of substitutions. There's 3 seconds on the clock, and their new big man comes into the game and drains a three. That's Edelman who steps onto the floor. Oscar Edelman, a freshman, and a big freshman at that. He is got to be about 6'7". Aggies have brought Jeremiah Alexander onto the floor, and Alexander is on the floor literally as he loses his footing. Cardinals brought a couple of substitutions onto the floor. Sam Pullman checks in, number 1 for Wesleyan, and also Zach Walensky, number 15 for the Cardinals. It's those two, Edelman, Nicky Johnson, and Cormier, the 5 on the floor for Wesleyan. Cardinals trying to figure out where they're going to inbound the ball from. Pullman comes to the near sideline. Wesleyan with a 16-5 lead. Pullman with the ball in his left hand. Pullman rubs off the screen from Edelman. Over the top, Oscar Edelman showed good range on his last shot. Doesn't want to attempt the second one here. Nicky Johnson takes it. Johnson slips into the paint, hands off. Edelman for 3, no. And Jeremiah Alexander snaps up the rebound for Del Val. Aggies trail 16-5. Redding doubled by Johnson as they give it off to Alexander. Alexander kicks out. McGinty thought about a 3, passes to Pear. Pear drives baseline, hangs, shot, no. Zolan Pear is fouled, and Big Zo will head to the foul line. Say the foul is on the Aggies, but they will correct that. But it is a timeout as well. Full timeout here in Middletown. We'll be back in just a bit. Wesleyan leading Delaware Valley at 16-5. Delaware Valley in the NCAA tournament. First round action from Middletown, Connecticut, where the Aggies trail the top seed in the entire bracket, the Wesleyan University Cardinals. Some of Wesleyan's noteworthy alumni, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Michael Bay, and Bill Belichick. Aggies make a substitution, 2 of them actually. Checking in for Del Val is number 21, Miles Denby, the promising freshman. Also, J.T. Wright III checks in. Pear's first free throw is good. Pear, a good free throw shooter, over 70%. Del Val, not a great free throw shooting team overall, but they're 3 for 3 today. Second shot coming here for Zo. Left that one short, and a pair of Cardinals corral around the ball. The Cardinals with a 15-6 rebounding advantage and a 16-6 scoring advantage. Regan guarded by Redding. Redding hanging with Shane Regan. Kick out, 3 on the way, back rim no, and Zolan Pear once again for the rebound. Zo's got 4 boards already. Aggies only have 7 as a team. Kamal hands off for Redding. Redding's got the only free field goal. 11-14 into the game for Del Val. Aggies down 10. Johnson slings it around. J.T. Wright III for 3. Yes! J.T. Wright III hits the triple, and the Aggies are within 7 at 16-9. 5:56 to play. Pullman for Edelman. The big freshman pivots. Wanted to go backdoor to Regan. Good job by Redding to shut that off. Driving in, hanging, layup, no. And the Cardinals with yet another offensive rebound. That's their 8th. Regan, the shot from Regan is no good. And Zolan Pear grabs the rebound and gets fouled. Zolan falls to the floor. Edelman will pick up his second. Nope, they're not going to give it to Edelman. They're going to assign it to Cormier instead, his first. Jordan Gomes in, Zolan Pear out. Aggies trailing 16-9. Kamal Johnson, Antonio Redding, J.T. Wright III, Jordan Gomes, and Miles Denby, the 5 on the floor for Coach Kaba. First NCAA tournament appearance as a coach for Kaba. He made a couple as a player at East Stroudsburg. Miles Denby for 3. Back rim, no. Redding with an offensive rebound. Redding hangs, shot, no. Redding not going to get a second chance because Edelman takes it away, and then J.T. Wright III commits the foul. Reading 1 for 3 to start the game. Cardinals bringing the ball up the floor. This is mostly their second team on the floor. Regan, the only starter for Wesleyan. Drive in, shot no good. Jordan Gomes grabs the rebound. And here comes Del Val back the other way. Trailing 16-9. Reading gets Edelman in the air, but Edelman is enormous, so he can't get it off over the top of him. Pass hits Jordan Gomes in the face. Gomes got it, count it, going to the line. Jordan Gomes for 2. And the Aggies are within 5. It's 16-11. Gomes heads to the free throw line. Aggies are shooting 3 for 12 from the floor. The Cardinals shooting the same percentage, just twice as much, 6 for 24 from the floor. Edelman to the bench. Fritz Hauser returns. As Coach Riley is putting his starters back out there. Nicky Johnson steps back out onto the floor. Cameron will check in as Cormier checks out. Aggies stay with the same 5. And Delaware Valley uses about 7 guys, so Cardinals have more than enough to spare. They've got, I don't know, about 20 on the bench. 16-12, Delaware Valley within 4. Aggies with a 6-0 run. Regan passes the ball off. Regan looks at a 3, drives. Picked up by Reading. Here comes Gomes on the help. Fritz Hauser leaves it for Nicky Johnson. Back for Hauser. Hauser fakes, passes off for Johnson. Johnson with 8 on the shot clock. Slips it off. Shot way up in the air. That was an interesting adjustment from Cameron. He threw that about 15 feet in the air, and it doinks off the rebound and in. Kamal Johnson blows by. Oh, couldn't get the finish. Good acceleration by Johnson. Here comes Little. Pass down in the post, shot, good, count it. Cardinals, quick 4-0 spurt, and they're back up by 8. Delaware Valley with the ball, trailing 20-12. Reading probes the defense. J.T. Wright III for 3. Yes! J.T. Wright III hits his second triple of the game. Aggies within 5. Aggies playing through the nerves here against the top team in the country. Fritz Hauser with an open look for 3, and that's good. Cardinals 5 of 13 for 3. Delaware Valley 3 of 7. 23-15. 8:21 to play. Kamal Johnson has the ball poked away. Denby elects to run back on defense instead of chasing, and here comes Regan. Regan zips it over. Hauser feeds to the baseline. Little back for Hauser. Cardinals with excellent ball movement. Hauser tries to back down on Gomes. 15 on the clock. Regan blows by Wright. Spins against the triple team. Flips it off the glass for 2. Finger roll from Regan. 6-0 run by, well, not a 6-0 run because there was a 3 in there for Del Val. But a 10-point lead for the Cardinals. It's 25-15. 7:46 to play. Coming up on the next media timeout. KJ guarded very closely by Nicky Johnson. Now Reading. Reading for Gomes. He'll hand it back to Antonio. Antonio slips it in for Jordan. Jordan fighting between 3 different guys. Shot is blocked from behind by Shane Regan. And here come the Cardinals the other way. Cameron down the floor. Hangs. Shot. Good. Wow, what a finish by Cameron. And it's an 8-0 run by the Cardinals. And it is a timeout. Full timeout taken. Our second media timeout. Your score was 7:20 to play in the first half. It's the Wesleyan Cardinals 27 and Delaware Valley 15. Delaware Valley and the Wesleyan Cardinals here in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Cardinals the top seed. We told you the top seed in the tournament, so obviously the top seed in this bracket as well. Gettysburg. The rest of the teams in this bracket are from Pennsylvania. Gettysburg, Chatham, who's from Pittsburgh, and Del Val. Jake McGinty back in for Del Val. Jeremiah Alexander and Zolan Pear also step onto the floor. Aggies trail 27-15. McGinty hands the ball off. Over for Redding. Redding guarded very closely by Cameron, who's a big guy. Redding has a kick off his foot. Pass up in front. Nicky Johnson wants to run, but he's 1-on-4, so he'll pull it back. Ben Little for three. Yes. And the Cardinals have had 3 straight three-pointers, and they're now 6 for 13, and they've doubled up Del Val. It's 30-15. So much for not being a good three-point shooting team. Redding needs somebody to come to him. Gomes does. Gomes trying to pivot on Ben Little. Hands it off for Alexander. Alexander pressed the spin button. Kick it out. Zoe for the long jumper. No. Rebound Fritz Hauser. Cardinals up the floor. Johnson pivots in. McGinty stuck in the air. Can they make it 4 in a row? No. 3 no good, and McGinty grabs the rebound. Second rebound of the night for Jake. He's also got 1 assist. The Aggies trail 30-15, 6:07 to play. McGinty has it poked away momentarily, gets it back. Jeremiah Alexander over for Redding. Cameron takes a swipe at it. Redding steps back. Fadeaway 3, no good. Hauser with the rebound. Redding so far tonight, 1 for 4, 1 for 3 from behind the arc. Pass into the paint. Ben Little shot, no. And Zolan Pear, who's a one-man rebounding machine, has his 6th rebound for Del Val. Redding tries to drive in, reach in, and a foul by Nicky Johnson. 5th foul on the Cardinals. Cormier and Oscar Edelman, return. JT Wright the third checks in. Gomes back to the bench. Aggies shooting 4 for 17 from the floor, 24%. Cardinals 12 of 32. That's 38%. Zolan, as Redding gets run over by Cormier. Redding stopped and Cormier couldn't. So Jackson Cormier just goes right through him. That's the 6th foul on the Cardinals, so not free throws yet. Second foul on Jackson. And Cardinals are going to bring him out of the game. Zach Walensky returns for Wesleyan. 5:32 to play in the first half. Aggies down by 15. JT Wright the third, who has 6 points. Feeds it to Pear. Pear feeds it to Alexander. Alexander, tough shot off the glass. No, gets his own rebound. Shot blocked from behind. And out of bounds, last touch by the Cardinals. Second block of the game for Wesleyan officially. You never know. Jake McGinty will inbound. 28 on the shot clock as that reset. Now they'll drop it down to 18. That makes more sense. McGinty gets it into Redding. Good defense from Walensky. Redding fade away. No. And Ben Little with the rebound. Redding just 1 for 5 to start the game. Cardinals with a 15-point lead. Nicky Johnson spun and then saw Zolan Pear and ends up shoveling the ball to the wall. It's a turnover by Wesleyan. That is their first turnover of the game. Aggies down 15, 30-15. 5 minutes to play. Aggies had it to 16-11 at one point. So it's been a Cardinals run. Redding for McGinty. McGinty shows 3, won't shoot it. Slips it off Jeremiah Alexander. Tries to dunk it and is fouled. Alexander wanted to try and throw that down, but he's fouled by Ben Little. That's Little's first, and that is free throws now for Del Val. 2 of them, as a matter of fact, as that was a shooting foul. Alexander at the free throw line. midseason transfer from Holy Family. His first shot off the back of the rim, off the glass and through. First points of the game for Jeremiah. Aggies with 7 points from their bench. Got the advantage from that perspective. 30-16, Cardinals with the lead, though. Alexander hits 1 of 2. Delaware Valley 5 of 6 from the foul line. Cardinals, Walensky for Edelman, who is his teammate shouts at him, shoot it. Edelman doesn't. And they'll reset. Baseline. Edelman with 9 on the shot clock. Edelman driving in into the paint, and the ball, late foul called on Jake McGinty with 5 seconds on the clock. That will reset the shot clock. Not a shooting foul, just the 3rd foul of the game on Del Val. Kamal Johnson checks in. Alexander to the bench. Pullman inbounds the ball and throws it to the wrong team. Jake McGinty with the steal for Del Val. Redding tries to drive baseline. Fadeaway jumper. No. Redding just not able to get on track here. 1 for 6 now is Antonio. Aggies down by 14. Edelman for an open 3. No. And Redding grabs the one-handed rebound. Delaware Valley still trailing by 10 in the rebound department. Kamal Johnson passes to Zolan. Pair layup is good. Good look from KJ to Zoe, and the Aggies down by a dozen. First field goal of the game for Zoe. And Ben Little will try and answer with a 3. That is so far off the mark, it just falls out of bounds. Misses everything but the baseline. Air ball, and we have our final media timeout of the first half. Aggies hanging in there, trailing 30-18, 3:32 to play in the first half. Aggies and Cardinals, 3:32 to play in the first half of their NCAA tournament matchup. Aggies making their 4th ever NCAA tournament appearance. Coach Kaba very appropriately being named the Freedom Conference Coach of the Year. And the Aggies were picked last in the preseason poll. And they were last in the conference last year. So a remarkable turnaround. A bunch of these guys will be back. A bunch of them will not. Redding, a junior. KJ, who's on the floor, a sophomore. Wright is a freshman. Guys who will graduate and leave the program: Jordan Gomes, Olin Pear, Jake McGinty, and Justin Ramsey Blythe, who was injured very early in the season. 30-18. Redding for McGinty. McGinty covered by Regan. Redding off the screen. Good job by Johnson to stay with him. Redding fades, fires, just can't get anything to fall. Zoe with the offensive rebound, though. And JT Wright, the 3rd for 3. No. Would have been big if he hit that. The Aggies could have got it down to single digits. Pullman, little back and forth with Fritz Hauser. Cardinals just have size everywhere. Aggies, one of the smaller teams, even in their own conference. Pass, backdoor cut, wide open, layup is good. Sam Pullman gets the finish, and the Cardinals back up 32-18. KJ driving, kicks out. JT for KJ. KJ for 3. No. Good rebound, or good box out by Fritz Hauser. Grabs the rebound, loses it, and that should have been a travel. Johnson loses the ball. That probably should have been a foul the other way. So evens out, I guess. Cardinals will have the ball. 32-18, 2:23 to play. Top 4 seeds in the tournament: Wesleyan, their conference rivals, Trinity, New York University, and I think Wisconsin-Platteville is the fourth. The interesting thing about that is as Regan takes the three, and that is good. Trinity, NYU, and Wesleyan are all within about an hour of each other. Cardinals have opened up the lead. That's their 7th three of the half, 35-18. I'd like to see Reading get on track here. Jake McGinty pull-up jumper. That is off the glass and good. First 2 points for Jake. Aggies down 15. Regan drives into the paint, hesitates, draws a couple of defenders. Aggies will rotate it around. Regan, frustrated with his teammate. He wanted Little to come and set the screen. Hauser will send it back door to Regan instead, and that's a wide open layup. Wonderfully designed play there, nicely executed from Regan and Hauser. And the Cardinals, after shooting 1 for 9 to start the game, are now up to 40%. 37-20. Zolan pair as Reading is grabbed and fouled, and the Aggies will get 1 and 1, and their best free throw shooter at the free throw line. One of the best free throw shooters in the country. This is Antonio Redding, shooting over 90%. Oscar Edelman returns. Fritz Hauser to the bench. Free throw for Reading, and even that doesn't fall. You know, it's been a rough half when he misses free throws. Cardinals down the floor, leading by 17. Regan, guarded by Reading. Ball handed off for Cameron. Johnson looks over the top of KJ. This is Nicky Johnson. Nicky Johnson drives, can't get the shot to fall, but he's fouled, and free throws coming for Nicky Johnson. Antonio Redding, 4th in the country in free throws. Joey LaChapelle from Wisconsin Oshkosh, their season's over. He shot 96% from the foul line. Looking down at the top 5, there's just 2 guys left. Utica College is in the tournament, I believe. But all the other top 5 players, their season's done. First free throw was good. First free throw of the game for Wesleyan. Cardinals lead 38-20. Second one for Johnson is also good. 39-20, final minute of play. Aggies were trying to get it down to single digits before the half, and it's swung back the other way. Jake McGinty swings it for Reading. Reading for Gomes. Gomes tries, goes up and under and through Ben Little for 2. Nicely done by Jordan Gomes. Jordan's got 7. He's the leading scorer for Del Val, and the Aggies are down by 17. Regan with 13 for the Cardinals. He averages 18 per game, and a timeout taken by Wesleyan with 20.2 seconds to play. Wesleyan calls timeout. Joe Riley will set up the play for his Cardinals. Shot clock is off. Game clock is 20 seconds. Nicky Johnson, Shane Regan, Oscar Edelman, who's returned. Wolinski and Ben Little, the 5 on the floor, as Johnson's just running the shot clock down. Shot clock at 8. Waits for a screen from Edelman. Shot clock at 5. Kick out for Regan. Shot clock at 3. Regan for 3. Off the rim, no good. Nikki Johnson tries to shot put it up, but the half is over, and somebody from Wesleyan was very eager to get into the locker room. One of their guys deep down the bench wins the fastest sprint to the locker room award. And that will do it here for the first half of play. Delaware Valley trailing with the Wesleyan Cardinals. It's Wesleyan 39 and Delaware Valley 22. We're here at the half. We'll be back in a little bit. Just want to make sure you haven't lost us. We are at the half. The Cardinals lead Delaware Valley 39-22. We're going to take about another 7 minutes or so, and we'll come back and get you some first half statistics from this one. Welcome back here at the half. We'll get you some numbers from this one. Delaware Valley trailing the Wesleyan University Cardinals, the top seed in the NCAA tournament bracket. The Aggies are not officially the 64th seed. They are 63rd in the NCAA for the first time seeding all 64 teams. Aggies are 63rd. I think Bryn Athyn, which is from probably about 45 minutes from Delaware Valley, right in the northern, just north of Philadelphia. Bryn Athyn is the 64th team in the tournament. Why Bryn Athyn is not here and Delaware Valley is, that I have no idea. But the Aggies trailing 39-22 at the break. Wesleyan started off the game shooting 1 for 10. They finished this first half shooting 15-38. That's 39.5%. They really hit a lot of threes. We talked with their play-by-play guy before the game. He said they're not traditionally a great three-point shooting team, and he's right. They shoot 31%. That is not particularly good, but not today. They're 7 of 19. That's 37%. And the Cardinals really, with a size advantage at almost every position, they're hurting the Aggies on the glass a lot too. Wesleyan with a 29-17 advantage. The Cardinals have 10 offensive rebounds to Delaware Valley's 4. Leading scorers in the first half, Shane Regan, 5 of 10. He was slow to start, but he heated up as the half went along. Cardinals leading scorer averages 18 points per game, first team all-conference in the NESCAC with 13 points in 17 minutes with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. For the Aggies, leading scorer is Jordan Gomes, 2 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 3 from the foul line. He had 1 rebound in 13 minutes of action. Ben Little scoring 7 for the Cardinals, 6 for Cameron, 5 for Nicky Johnson, 3 for Oscar Edelman, 3 for Fritz Hauser, and 2 for Sam Pullman. For Delaware Valley, J.T. Wright III with a couple of threes. He has 6. Redding and Zolan pair with 3 apiece. 2 for Jake McGinty and 1 for Jeremiah Alexander. The Freedom Conference women's team is champion is in action tonight. I did not say that very clearly. Let me try again. The Freedom Conference champion on the women's side is in action tonight. That is Stevens. They are at Gettysburg. They're trailing the Bullets, who are ranked number 10th in the country. Bullets leading that one 27-21 at the half. There's a whole slew of NESCAC teams in the tournament, but you're probably not listening from the Wesleyan side, so we're not even going to tell you how they're doing. Cardinals with the ball. Starting 5 on the floor for Joe Riley. Regan, Hauser, Nicky Johnson, Ben Little, and Jackson Cormier. And a foul to start the half as Jackson Cormier runs over the top of one of the Aggies, and that is Antonio Redding, and he is still down. Redding gets up and walks away from the officials. Does not want to come off the floor. Coach Caba looking at his all-conference star. Redding going to jog towards the sideline, and no, he's going to stay in the game, or at least try to. Foul was actually on Fritz Hauser. That's Hauser's first. And the Aggies have KJ, Jordan Gomes, Antonio Redding, Zolan Pear, and Jake McGinty, the 5 on the floor for Del Val. As Zolan Pear gets run over, Jackson Cormier is a wrecking ball. He's just running through people out there. And there is a foul on Ben Little. Second foul on Little. Cormier has 2. For Delaware Valley, only 4 fouls in the first half, so no foul trouble of note. KJ will try and inbound from underneath the Wesleyan basket. Zips it out for Antonio Redding. Cardinals run 2 at him. KJ rotates it for Gomes. Gomes for Redding. Redding will momentarily get to go one-on-one. Fade away from Antonio. No good. Ben Little with the rebound. Redding 1 for 9 here in this game. Nicky Johnson drives in. Got it. Count it. Going to the line. Good hesitation move from Nicky Johnson as he draws the contact on Jordan Gomes. Actually, they're going to get Kamal Johnson for the foul on the reach instead. And the Cardinals' lead swells to 41-22. Johnson at the foul line, hits the free throw. Cardinals have only attempted 3, and they've all been taken by Nicky Johnson, and he is 3 for 3. 42-22. Delaware Valley trying to hang in there with the top team in the tournament bracket. Aggies 15-12. Aggies were below 500 until that last push to get into the conference tournament and then to win it. 10 seconds on the shot clock. KJ drives, step back, flips the wrist, no good. Jake McGinty with the offensive rebound. Tries to throw it on the baseline to Johnson, and it hits the underside of the basket. Turnover on Del Val. 6th turnover of the game for Delaware Valley. Aggies were actually +1 in assists to turnovers. The Cardinals were 12 up to 3 down. That is really good. 42-22. Wesleyan trying to advance to the second round of the tournament here on their own floor. With Fritz Hauser drives in for Regan. Regan guarded by Gomes. 8 on the shot clock. Jake McGinty comes at him. Nicky Johnson starts to try and drive in. Johnson hangs with him. Fouled by KJ, and a free throw's coming. As JT Wright III will pop off the bench for Coach Kaba. 3rd foul on KJ. Johnson just a sophomore. He'll be back next year. Free throws coming for Nicky Johnson, who's been the only Cardinal to attempt from this spot. Cardinals are a good free throw shooting team, shoots 75% as a team. Regan shoots 87%, Nicky Johnson 76%, and Jackson Cormier 72%. Those are the 3 leaders, and they're also the 3 guys who've taken the most shots. 44-22. First 5 points of the second half belong to the Cardinals, and the Aggies once again doubled up on the scoreboard. So Lemper hands off to JT Wright III. JT for Zolan. Zolan down low for Jordan. Jordan tries to slip it behind his back. Nobody there. Cardinals with the takeaway. Driving down the floor. Hesitation, kick out. Regan thinks about a 3. Drives on Redding. Shot over the top of Pear, no good, and Gomes collects the rebound. Miles Demby will check back in at the next dead ball for Del Val. Redding for McGinty. And over for JT Wright III. Aggies yet to score here in the second half. Didn't score in the first 3 minutes of the first half either. Pear fakes the handoff to Redding. McGinty drives in. Ball stolen away. McGinty pops it free. Ben Little now on a fast break. It's Ben Little. That was a travel, and that was over the back on Hauser, and they're going to get the second of the 2. Hauser goes over the top of Antonio Redding as some of the fans chortling at Ben Little's expense. That was looked like a runaway freight train there. Brian Everett going to check in for Delaware Valley. McGinty to the bench. Jordan Gomes to the bench. Miles Denby returns. Oscar Edelman into the game for Wesleyan. Fritz Hauser takes a seat. Everett will take a 3. No. Rebound controlled by Cormier. Drive in, Cormier, shot. Good. Actually, that was Ben Little, excuse me. Aggies trail 46-22. Everett for Redding. Redding swats away the hand of Cormier. Drives in. Over for Denby. 9 on the clock. Everett off the screen for Denby. Denby with 5. Gonna have to put something up. Miles, step back 3. Good. Miles Denby for 3. First 3 of the game for the freshman from Bucks County. Aggies trail 46-25. That's the 5th 3 of the night for Del Val. Pass deflected by Pear and stolen by Denby. Denby hands it off for Redding, who's playing point guard now, with Kamal Johnson sitting with 3 fouls. Redding slips it on the floor for Wright. JT Wright III tries to drive baseline. Ball popped out of bounds by Nicky Johnson. And we're going to get a first media timeout of the second half. Wesleyan starting to pull away. Top-ranked Cardinals lead Delaware Valley. It's 46-25. Aggies to inbound, trailing 46-25, 15:50 to play. Redding throws the ball inbounds to Zolan pair. Miles Demby, who hit a three a moment ago, gives it to Redding. Redding off a screen. Cardinals have done outstanding work on him on defense. Demby got knocked to the floor, and jump ball possession now in favor of Delaware Valley. Zolan drives in, shot, I think it was partially deflected by Edelman, but it's way off the mark. Down the floor, shot, no good. Zolan pair gets part of the body of Cardinals shooter, and Wesleyan will go to the free throw line. It's Ben Little. That's Zolan's first foul. Zolan, as the season's gone on, has really become an outstanding defensive player. I'm obviously very biased, but I thought he should have been the defensive player of the year in the conference. No offense to Jack Spellman, who I suspect is who won it. Free throw is up and good. Those two finished in the top 10 in the country in shot blocks. Zolan will graduate number 2 all-time behind All-American Jeremy Beckett. Ben Little hits the free throw. I would suspect Jack Spellman will be number 1 all-time in his program for the Ducks. 48-25, Delaware Valley down by 23 now. Del Val still looking for their first field goal of the second half. Alexander gets it. Jeremiah Alexander off glass for 2. First field goal of the night for Jeremiah. He's got 3. Aggies down by 21. 15 minutes to play in the second half. Cardinals going to the rim with more aggression as Shane Regan. No, excuse me, that's not Regan. That is Sam Pullman for 2. 50-27. Alexander looks off Everett and slips it off for Redding. Redding just draped and defended really well all night. Tries to take the shot, and he's fouled. I think they're going to get, it's Cameron. Jackson Cormier returns. Josh Cameron. Cameron will actually stay on the bench. It's Johnson and Little who go to the bench for the Cardinals. Delaware Valley trailing 50-27. 14.5 minutes to play here in the NCAA tournament. JT Wright the third. Gives it off for Demby. Demby guarded by Edelman. Steps back, fadeaway 3. No. Jeremiah Alexander skies for the offensive rebound. Puts the shot up. No, Denby tried to grab the rebound, taken away by Edelman. And Denby and Cormier get tangled behind the play. Regan goes up, shot is good. Shane Regan for 2. 52-27, 25-point lead for the Cardinals. Regan now has 15. Ryan Everett step back 3, no. Denby can't get to the rebound. Delaware Valley 5 of 9 from 3. I'm sorry. 4 of 13 from 3, 5 of 9 from the foul line. Regan drives in, shot over the top Alexander. That one won't fall, but Cameron gets the rebound. His putback no good, and Alexander snatches up the rebound. Alexander's 4th rebound of the game, 3 from Redding. No, just not Antonio's night, and Ryan Everett ties up Regan and commits the foul. Well, Delaware Valley was going to have any chance in this game. It was going to be on the shoulders of a huge performance from Antonio Redding, and Redding goes to the bench. He's 1 for 10 in this game. Certainly would understand if he's just ran out of gas after carrying the team offensively. 47 points against Stevens, 21 against Misericordia, and the game winner against Stevens last week. Edelman for 3. No, but he's fouled as Jeremiah Alexander gets there late, and Oscar Edelman will go to the free throw line for 3. So Edelman will get to the free throw line, and he'll get 3 shots. First one for Oscar is no good. New England Small College Athletic Conference schools, they draw from a huge talent pool. Their second free throw is no good. They get guys from all over the place. Wesleyan is certainly part of that. Guys from Vermont, Massachusetts, New York, California, Texas. So Edelman gets 1 of 3. It ends up being a pretty good trade for Del Val. They trail by 26, though. KJ back on the floor. Wright for McGinty. JT Wright for Gomes. Gomes tries to drive on the extremely large Oscar Edelman. McGinty hands the ball off for KJ. KJ pull up, fade away, yes. Kamal Johnson for 2. First field goal of the game for Johnson. He's got 2 points. 53-29. As JT Wright III with a steal. Goes in on Pullman, shot no good, and he is fouled. And Sam Pullman will send JT Wright III to the bench. This might be JT Wright III's best game of the year. Certainly would like to see that. He's just a freshman. Aggies starting, or with 3 guys, not starting any freshmen, but 3 guys in the rotation who are first-year students, Wright, Denby, and Everett. And JT Wright III hits the first free throw. He's got 7 points now. Walensky into the game as Jackson Cameron heads to the bench. Wright got them both. So JT Wright III has 8 points for Del Val. I think he's the Aggies' leading scorer at this point, 53-31. And that was lost out of bounds off of Wesleyan. The Aggies get it back. Coach Cobb was shooing one of the assistants away. Johnson in, Little in. Little has already got a double-double. He had 6 rebounds in the first 6 minutes. His pace has slowed down, but he's got 10 right now. Regan with 15 points. Mickey Johnson with 10. Those are the top Cardinal players. Johnson bringing the ball up the floor. Delaware Valley trailing by 21. JT Wright III for 3. Yes! JT Wright III is on fire. He's got 11. We'll check, see if that's his season high. Aggies with a full court press, and the Cardinals nearly turn it over. Regan hesitates. Ball popped free as Jake McGinty gets a piece of it. And the foul is called on Jake. Well, Wright is right on his season high. Arcadia, he had 11 points in the loss to the Knights. That was the last game Delaware Valley lost. When they lost that game, they dropped into a 3-way tie for 5th place, and we did not think we would be here on the first Friday of the NCAA tournament. It's been a remarkable run for Delaware Valley. Aggies trail 53-34, 21-point Cardinals lead. Johnson for Edelman. Edelman tries to drive on Alexander. Nice defense. Pass for Regan. Regan, wow. I'm not sure if that was a pass or if he just dropped the ball out of his hands and his teammate happened to be there, but it effectively is a handoff and a layup for 2. KJ for Jordan Gomes. Gomes fakes the 3. Gives it off for Jeremiah Alexander. This is an interesting 5 that's on the floor for Delaware Valley right now. McGinty, Gomes, Alexander, JT Wright III, and Kamal Johnson. Jordan calls for the clear out and pass to a wide open Jake McGinty. Nicely done. McGinty with 4. McGinty has been a huge part of the Aggies' Cinderella run. He has played exceptional defense, good rebounder. Been a really nice part of the story. Wide open 3 for the Cardinals. No good. Edelman is all by himself for the offensive rebound. Regan kick out, work it around. How about another wide open 3? This time from Little. It's good. Then Little hits the 3, and the Aggies it's not like they're not trying to defend. They're just so outsized. They have to send 5 guys at the glass on every shot, and that leaves people wide open off of any kind of offensive rebound. 58-36, KJ drives in, scoop is up and good. Kamal Johnson for 2. 4 points for KJ. Aggies down by 20. Nikki Johnson into the pass off to the side. Edelman kicks out. Nikki Johnson, here's another guy wide open. The Aggies aren't even going to bother to cover him. Now they do. Ben Little for 3, and he hits the shot, but he was standing out of bounds, so that doesn't count. Media timeout, Delaware Valley trying to hang in there as best they can. It's the Wesleyan Cardinals 58 and your Aggies 38. Delaware Valley with Antonio Redding back on the floor along with Miles Dunby, Ryan Everett, Zolan Pear. Everett passes, ball is stolen away. Aggies down by 20. Trailed by about that at the half, so they've played the top-seeded Cardinals even here in the second frame so far. Cardinals with the ball. Ben Little, who's been the star here today, 16 points, 10 rebounds. That ton stolen away by our man J.T. Wright III again. Wright needs 1 basket for a career high. Won't take it right there. Denby way over the top of the defense for Everett. Everett for Antonio Redding. Redding guards on Regan. Regan just swiping at the ball furiously. Redding off the screen, passes for Redding, or for Pear. Pear's shot, no. Zolan tries to get the rebound. Ben Little pulls it down. And then he flings it along the sidelines to nobody in particular out of bounds. Jackson Cormier returns for the Cardinals. Ben Little will get a break. Aggies keep the same 5 on the floor. 9 minutes to play in the second half. Delaware Valley down by 20. Redding, backdoor cut, nice pass. Zolan Pear goes in and gets hammered. Nicely done from Redding to Everett to Pear. Pear was going to try and throw it down, and he got thrown down instead. It's a foul. And Zoe will go to the free throw line. Zoe's first free throw, no good. Second one coming for Zolan Pear. 3 points tonight for Zoe. And he's got 4 now as he rolls that one for you. 58-39, Delaware Valley down by 19. Cardinals bringing the ball up the floor. Regan zigzagging as Miles Denby picks him up. It's an interesting matchup. Power forward on shooting guard. And Regan blows right past Denby on the give and go for 2. That's why we said that's an interesting matchup. 60-39. Redding pass for pair, kick out. Denby for 3. That's way short. Miles playing with an injured finger. Still taped up from when it was hurt against Stevens a bunch of games ago. Cardinals will pull it back and run a little bit of clock now, up 21. Nikki Johnson outside. Denby late to get there. Regan hits the 3. Regan with 20. Cardinals by 24. It's 63-39. Redding drives in. Shot is up and good for Antonio Redding, who does finally get one to fall. Just the second field goal of the game for Antonio. 63-41. Cardinals come down. Pull-up shot is good. Aggies trying to apply the press, but the Cardinals breaking it with ease and turning it into very easy baskets the other way. Redding. Guarded by Johnson. Tries to slip back door. Cardinals with the steal. This is Fritz Hauser will drive in. And foul as Miles Denby. A little bit of acting there for Miles Denby. But it works. 65-41. Foul is on Hauser. Immediate timeout taken. Back here in Middletown, Connecticut, Wesleyan University, the top seed in the NCAA tournament, D3 NCAA tournament, on top of Delaware Valley, 65-41. I mentioned that Gettysburg won earlier. Bryn Athyn, there's a bunch of teams from the Philadelphia area who are in the tournament. Bryn Athyn is getting crushed by Hampden-Sydney in the first round. Bryn Athyn is the 64th seed. And again, I don't know why Del Val is playing here. As Markel Fitzgerald is checked in for Del Val. KJ tries to drive. And a traveling violation. Aggies have Johnson McGinty, Jeremiah Alexander, Markel Fitzgerald, and Jordan Gomes are the 5 on the floor. And you're not allowed to do that. That's a turnover. You can run the baseline after a score. You cannot run the baseline after a turnover. I mean, you can. It just gives the ball back to the other team. So the Aggies will inbound. Jordan Gomes wanted to hand the ball off. Gomes driving in. McGinty tries to drive in on Regan. Regan poking at the ball. Alexander will take it. Shot clock down to 8. KJ with Edelman on him. Alexander with Johnson on him. Alexander, shot goes up, and a foul on Nikki Johnson. So Delaware Valley will get free throws. First free throw for Jeremiah is no good. Second one coming here for Jeremiah. Got it. Cardinals bringing the ball down the floor, up by 23. And there's a traveling violation on Nikki Johnson. Kamal Johnson bringing the ball up the floor. Under 7 minutes to play now for Delaware Valley. Markel Fitzgerald hands the ball off for KJ. KJ working at the top of the arc. Jake McGinty for Fitzgerald to rush just in front of the Delaware Valley bench. Pass into the post. And Cardinals going to put Delaware Valley at the free throw line. That is the 9th foul on Wesleyan. And so 1-1 coming here for Jordan Gomes. Josh Cameron picks up the foul. His second. Jordan to the free throw line. Tonight he's 3 for 3 from there. Make it 4 for 4. Gomes with 8 points, second leading scorer on the Aggies this evening, behind JT Wright the third. Second one coming for Jordan. Well, Jordan's looked good from the foul line tonight. He's only a 55% free throw shooter, but he hits them both, and Coach Cobble going to call timeout to prep the guys for the final. 6:27. It's a full timeout. Delaware Valley trailing Wesleyan. It's 65-44. Aggies will inbound the ball. Trailing by 21 here in the first round of the NCAA tournament. My mistake. Cardinals will inbound the ball. Del Val just made 2 free throws. Cardinals with Regan, Edelman, Nikki Johnson. I think that's Pullman, I believe. And it's Cameron rounding out the 5. Edelman for Johnson. Edelman hands it off for Pullman. 6:16 to play, Delaware Valley. On defense, Regan drives on Kamal Johnson, passes, ball poked away by McGinty. 6 on the shot clock. Nikki Johnson drives. Aggies collapse on him. Johnson drives over the top of Jeremiah Alexander for 2. Nicely done by Nikki Johnson. A high arcing finger roll off the glass and good. JT Wright the third blows by the defender. Shot is blocked, but he is fouled. The foul is assessed to Sam Pullman. That's his third. And Wright will have a chance to set a new career high in his young career here at the foul line. 11 points for Wright. 2-shot foul coming. And he hits the first. Miles Denby, Ryan Everett, Antonio Redding, Zolan Pear back onto the floor. JT Wright will stay on the floor. Aggies down by 22. Cardinals also bring a new man onto the floor. Did they just announced Jahan Owusu? I don't even think he's, no, okay, sorry. 67-46. He's not dressed, okay. Edelman. Passes the ball back for Johnson. Cardinals lead by 21. Johnson for Edelman. Edelman with Zolan Pear on him. Edelman inside the arc. Kicks over for Johnson. Johnson with 7 on the clock. Floats it up. Foreman's shot, no good. Ball batted around. Miles Denby comes down with the defensive rebound. And the Aggies will try and get a little closer with 5:12 to play as well. Ryan Everett will perhaps run point very briefly. Antonio Redding bumped. Redding ball rolls free to Everett. Everett has it, 15 on the shot clock. Everett over for Wright. Someone trying to trick Wright into shooting. He drives in. Shot is good. JT Wright, the third for 2. He's got 15. And the Aggies are within 19. Joe Riley not comfortable enough to let his starters sit the rest of this one out. He brings Ben Little back off the bench. Fans here getting restless about the calls. And Riley will call a timeout to talk it over. So at least Delaware Valley is making things uncomfortable for the Cardinals. Trailing by 19, 4:37 to play. Cardinals will inbound. Cardinals will put their 5 starters back on the floor here. Up by 19 with 4:34 to play. Delaware Valley has scored the last 6. Driving in, hanging, is getting Jeremiah Alexander in the air, and drawing the foul is Jackson Cormier. Third foul on Jeremiah, who's played some real big minutes. Had 2 big plays at the end of the win over Stevens, excuse me. Stevenson's a different school. 67 to 48. I'm so used to saying big win in Stevenson because of football. Free throw up and good. So Cormier splits him. Jackson's got, actually, it's his first point of the night for the Cardinals point guard. But they've gotten plenty from others, and they lead by 20. Everett looked like he was trying to push his way through a wall on Regan. Demby. Pass for Redding. Redding 2 for 11. Fadeaway 3. Wow. Way off the mark. Barely hits the glass and hits it by about 2 feet to the right of the rim. Pass baseline. Cormier's shot partially perhaps blocked by Alexander. Cormier kicks back out as Regan will try and drive on Antonio. Slings it out. Wide open Ben Little for 3. Good. The Cardinals, the Aggies have not been able to cover that at all. And it's back to a 23-point Wesleyan lead with 3:34 to play. And Coach Riley is going to get some of his reserves on the bench. Miles Demby's 3 is an air ball. .322 left in the Delaware Valley season. It's been a remarkable one. Aggies in the NCAA tournament for just the 4th time in program history. Regan swats Ryan Everett's hand off his foot, passes into the post. Well, shot's no good. Ball deflects around. Nicky Johnson controls, 18 on the shot clock, and he'll backpedal and run this inside 3 minutes left. Aggies were 11-11 when they went on this run to get into the NCAA tournament. One at Stevens on a Wednesday night, then one at home over DeSales in what was basically a playoff game. Went into the conference tournament, beat Misericordia at home. Every time the Aggies have won a title, they've beaten Misericordia along the way. At least since Misericordia's joined the conference, they haven't always been in it. And then beating Stevens last Saturday for the title. Final timeout, well, maybe not the final timeout, a full timeout taken. We'll step away for a couple seconds, come back. Delaware Valley will use the last healthy body that they've got. They'll all get in the game, which is good. Caleb Johnson checking in. So, great experience for the guys here to make the tournament. Coach, I call him Coach Duda because I was used to covering him as a coach at Widener. He was telling me about he made the NCAA tournament a couple of times with the Pride. I guess they were, actually back then they were the Pioneers or whatever they were. But he made the tournament twice. It was a regional tournament back then. So he ended up playing Catholic and Franklin and Marshall, who were in the top 10 in the country in the first round, even though those Widener teams are pretty good. He said he really liked the fact that the Aggies got a chance to travel, make it more feel like the special accomplishment that it is. Jordan's shot no good. Caleb Johnson gets the offensive rebound, passes into Jordan. Jordan got it, count it, going to the line. Maybe one more time in the career of Jordan Gomes. His patented move where he draws the contact and spins off the glass for two. Zolan Pear will check in. Jordan has been fun to cover his 5 seasons. Remember his first game at Delaware Valley was played with a mask on in that COVID season as Joe Riley is pulling his starters off the floor. They get a hand. They'll be back tomorrow night to play Gettysburg. Well, Jordan showed promise right away. Split time as a starter in that 10-game season with Mark Seidenberg's last year. Has been in and out of the starting lineup this year, but has been a consistent and a constant for an Aggies program that was really down and out a couple of years ago. So Jordan getting a chance to finish in the NCAA tournament, very, very special. Same thing as Zolan Pear. He's played 4 instead of 5 years. Zoe is out there now. As the Cardinals running down the clock on themselves again. They get the shot off. No good. And last touch by Wesleyan out of bounds. Zoe has really matured from a guy who was always a tremendous athlete, but he put on a bunch of weight. He became a really good low post player. And now Coach Kaba is giving these guys a chance to go out one by one. Zoe goes out first. Jordan Gomes heads out, and Jake McGinty, who really matured over the course of his career here. Went from being a guy who we told his dad we weren't sure why he was on the floor as a freshman to being a guy who was the real centerpiece in a lot of games. Jake McGinty, we will miss seeing his family who sits in front of us at all the broadcasts. And now both teams are getting in on the action. Cardinals will pull their starters. Again, their guys will be back tomorrow night. And probably if the Cardinals would be heavily favored next week or tomorrow against Gettysburg, and then would almost certainly host next weekend. So this is far from the last home appearance for the Cardinals. They keep winning. They'll keep playing here until they get to the Final Four. Caleb Johnson puts it up for 2. We'll do our best to tell you who the Cardinals are as they use their reserves here at the end of the game. Delaware Valley down by 21. Got Jacob Pofsky in for Wesleyan. Cardinals, this is number 11, Jared Langs. 3 on the way, no good. Markel Fitzgerald can't get the rebound. It's controlled by Zach Walensky, who was in the rotation. 3 up, and wow. About 3 feet off the mark for Phillip Park, who missed it by that much. 71-50. Final 55 seconds of the season. And also don't want to forget about Justin Ramsey Blythe, who only played 4 games this year, was a key part of the last couple of teams. And nice for Justin to be able to finish. Caleb Johnson, well, Aggies playing Globetrotters there through the paint, but no one's shooting it, and the Cardinals take it away. Delaware Valley will finish the season with a 15-12 mark, but they will be conference champs as JT Wright III, who will be back next year, commits the foul. We got 4 freshmen on the floor right now, along with Caleb Johnson. Cardinals will huddle it up, let their Jacob Pofsky, the senior from Agora Hills, California, shoot the 3. Not the 3, the free throw. Jacob's first is good. He'll get the second. That's the loudest cheer we've heard all night from the Wesleyan fans. They've filled out what they called the bird's nest here pretty well. Wesleyan has the bird's nest and Trinity has the coop. We got to come up with a good nickname for our gym, Max. Ryan Everett. No. I guess we could go with the barn, the stable. Final 10 seconds. For those of you who tuned in, Chris, for you, and whoever that other person is, thanks very much for listening. It was a fun experience for us and a great, great season for Delaware Valley men's basketball. It does end. The clock runs out on Cinderella as Delaware Valley falls to the top-seeded Wesleyan University Cardinals. Your final score, Wesleyan 72, Delaware Valley 50. For the Aggies, their leading scorer tonight was J.T. Wright III, a career high for the freshman, 15 points. Leading rebounder was Zolan Pear. In his final performance as an Aggie, he had 7 boards and 3 assists for the sophomore guard, Kamal Johnson. Thanks for listening. Remember to tune in to Delaware Valley University Sports Network for all kinds of Aggies athletics as they pivot to the spring. Have a good night, everyone.